you're going to like this episode. This
Yeah.
is going to be, it's not a first, but it's bringing something back that we've not had in the podcast for a long time. Once everything's up and running, you will see.
Yeah.
Good, it's already come up there. I love it when it does that.
I didn't see it.
Why does it not come up on my phone?
It's come up from...
I'd post it in anyway, just in case. Not
Yeah.
that anyone's going to watch. There we go. We got sound. We have sound. Are you ready for this?
I am indeed.
Starting the podcast in style.
The whole Liam Kumar Day effect.
Oh.
Not really happened.
No, you couldn't make it.
Yeah, it's back.
Don't take this home. Phil, Predator guy, always.
You picked it up so good, yeah.
He is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No. It was pretty bit.
This actually does have a trophy. Yeah, you don't notice.
Phil's never thanking you.
Let me top that. Hello and welcome to another episode of the LOC Report. We have the jingle back. We've got it back. There's something else we've got back. A certain current champion, Ollie Burdett. How's it going?
I thought I'd make an appearance.
Yeah. We usually on the pre-season nowadays like to trot out
Different hosts whilst
different
Chris
guests,
is away for them.
jetting around in various places. Yes, the co-host is in Portugal this week. But hopefully he will be back for the mock draft episode next week. You'll be in Spain this week.
I'll be in Spain. I'll also be in
sorry.
Spain for the draft.
And the draft as well, which obviously is not long off either.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today. Wow, because it's really 3 podcasts we would have done separately in previous years that we are now merging all into one. It is the division lining event review, which is yours, so good one to have you on for. And then of course we have the division review itself. And then we'll look at the schedule, which got made. Well, I made it the other day, but I uploaded it all today, so probably for everyone this will be the first you've heard of it or seen of it. But as we like to do before we get into all that, we want a little bit of league news. And you know what the league news means? I wasn't kidding when I said the jingles are back. That's breaking news in itself, and it didn't even mess up my recording. Oh, it did. It paused it, but that's fine. I'd rather it pause it than stop it entirely. We just need to start it again. It didn't even stop. There you go. I don't know what it's doing actually. We're back. Anyway, so league news. So we had the division aligning event on the weekend, which we'll recap in a second. The draft. Constant reminders at this point. Sunday, the 1st of September. It will be at the offices as usual, as the extension unfortunately is not going to plan, but hey.
It should also be a little bit shorter than usual with 1 less round.
Yeah, 2 less rounds. Because we
one
covered
less player, 1 less bench.
Exactly right. So 2 less rounds, so it will be a bit quicker. We're starting at 11 a.m. or get there at 4:11 a.m. I should say. 12 for you. 12 p.m. start time if you're in Spain or another associated European country.
Away.
Viv is in Alaska. He will probably be asleep when we draft, I think, which is fair enough. And I don't know where Ross is, but
No.
11 a.m. get there for the start. Bring your £3 in subs or transfer it to me beforehand, or you do not make a pick until I have it. That is the rule. That is what we abide by. Any other league news that I can think of?
No.
Rob's not. Can't forget this. Comment along, obviously. I should have put the video up on my iPad so I could see you commenting along. I will do that right now as we speak. But also for next week's episode, please submit your applications because it is the mock draft, which means we need people. So please let me know if you'd like to be on the mock draft episode. Chris will, but like I say, anyone else as well, please join. That is it for the league news. So we will just zip right on into the division aligning event review. Now, before I'll give a little synopsis of what it was, and then I'll let maybe Ollie tell us his
thought process.
That's what we all want to know. That's what the viewers want to know, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the day and how it went. So, synopsis was we were to arrive at Hunts Pond Park approximately midday.
Yeah.
And when we got there, we kind of had an idea of what it would involve, a mix of Chris's logistics challenge from last year, a mix of Ben's treasure hunt from the year before, no thank you Alexa, and a few little
little bits which haven't been seen before.
Combined challenges as well, let's say, so that was good. What was your thought process when the division?
Well, I remember saying a few years ago when we introduced the idea, I thought it'd be a really good idea to, if I won the league, I'll do a combine.
Yes.
I was like, that'd be quite good. But then I thought, everyone's of a different level of athleticism.
Yeah.
Some people might be injured, some people may not want to do it, so I thought I've got to do something to include everyone. Everyone enjoyed Ben's a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Chris then built on that.
Yes.
And then so I thought, you know what, I'll basically do those blend them together and add a bit of a combine to it. Because then it's got different facts and a bit of a quiz.
Yes,
Which
how could
is
I
an
forget
LOC
about
related quiz.
Yes, it was very good. Very
nice
good
and simple questions, but only LOC people would be able to.
Yeah, absolutely,
answer them.
absolutely. Let's start off with the first part of that then. So
the teams.
Yeah, the teams.
You and your dad.
Yeah.
Chris and Ben.
Yeah.
Ollie and Phil. Tom and Pat. And Ross and Viv.
Yes, those are the teams. So we got there knowing those teams beforehand. When we got there, obviously we started with the combine stuff, which and you gave us the questions. We'll come back to those though in a second. So we had mini foam footballs, which are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
I was glad it wasn't that windy that day because.
Although on one of the challenges, which we'll get to in a second, the wind did seem to have a significant impact. We could have maybe trundled down the other end of the pitch.
Yeah.
But Alex, sorry, we had the first one was we had 3 attempts to throw the ball as far as we could.
Yep.
Second was we had 3 attempts to kick the ball as far as we could, but it had to be the other member of your team, i.e. the person who threw couldn't kick as well. Then we had to throw the ball
and catch it for the furthest distance over 3 catches.
Over 3 attempts. So if you dropped it, you didn't move. And if you got it, you kept going. Then we had the same, but for kicking.
Yep.
Then was it the crossbar challenge?
Crossbar challenge, which was very difficult into the wind.
Yeah.
However, just as we suggested, you want to move down the other end. I think someone hit it.
Yeah.
I think maybe your dad hit it then, or the first person to hit it then.
Yeah.
And that's why we were like, okay, well, it can be hit. So we'll just sort of leave. In the end, 3 out of 5 teams ended up hitting it.
And a lot of people were close. It wasn't like
everyone was quite close. So it wasn't. It's just very different in terms of all the other challenges were throwing it with the wind.
Yes.
That one was throwing into it, so it was a bit.
And then after that, we had a 40-yard dash.
40-yard, which had to be redone because of the close finish.
Gave me a second chance. Still came last. But much closer because I didn't start as slow.
Yeah, it was a bit clearer the second race. It was a bit more defined. The first one was very close.
And then we had, a dodgeball challenge, effectively.
Which didn't go so well on the small pitch. They were out within about half a second. But on the big pitch, I think it went quite well.
Yeah, my dad surprisingly lasted quite long.
Yeah.
Much to everyone's dismay. So in the throwing challenge, if I recall, Tom won that.
Tom won that quite comfortably.
Yeah, so Tom Pat won that one. Then
Phil won the kicking challenge.
Phil did. Phil only got him on the kicking challenge. I nearly got him.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah.
We'll say with Phil and Ollie did very well on those challenges.
Yeah. They didn't start well.
They came second. Yeah, they started each round horrendously, and then they didn't come outside the top 2 in pretty much every event. Other than the
you're
sprint.
right. Yeah. Oh, how that would not carry over to the rest of the days. We'll find out later. Then we had the moving passes down the field. I think Ollie and Phil won
and Phil won that again.
Then we had the kicking and moving. I can't remember who won.
I want to say Ben and Chris won that.
I think you might.
I think they just got there because they made the last second kick. Yeah. Correct us if we're wrong, but I think off the top of my head they won that.
Crossbar challenge was a 3-way tie, as you said. The 40-yard dash, who won that?
Viv won that.
By her.
The first one, Viv, Ollie and Chris were all tied. And then we reran it, and then I think it went Viv, Ollie, then Chris.
Yes.
So,
and then we had the dodgeball, which Tom and Pat won.
Tom and Pat won, despite...
Yes, in controversial circumstances.
Pat was out immediately after not realising that someone had a ball standing behind him.
But Ross was deliberately hiding said ball.
And we made it clear at the start, you have to let people know where their balls were. So we let Pat back in. He did pretty well to avoid everything. And they won that. But so Phil and Ollie had a good combine, we'll call it.
Indeed.
Tom and Pat also had a very good combine.
Yeah.
Tom and Pat were leading the way.
Right, yeah.
Phil and Ollie were second. You were just 1 point behind them.
Right, okay.
Although I don't think you guys won any challenges.
We didn't, but we came solidly second and third.
You came second and third in all
Mostly.
but like one challenge.
I think the
again,
kicking
so-
one we came fourth.
Yeah, but you were in
Yeah.
the points quite a lot.
Yeah.
Viv and Viv and Ross came last. They had a bit of a disappointing. Although they started off well in each challenge and then it just sort of dropped off.
Yeah.
They were a bit unlucky. They had to go first on one of them,
Yeah.
and and then Ben and Chris rounded out in fourth place after a bit of an up and down.
Then we will introduce the questions now and do the answers, but we didn't find out the answers to the end. So you had some trivia questions. So the first of which was, if you were to add up the highest scoring week from a player in each season from 2010 to 2018, what would the cumulative score be? Was the first one. Then the same, but for highest weekly team score. So if you added all of those together, what the total would be, and then highest season team score. What would the total score be? So that was pretty fun.
Most people were quite close with them.
Yeah.
I think I was expecting a lot stranger results, but I think a lot of them were within.
Yeah, I can't speak to what everyone else was doing, but I took it very logically.
Yeah.
I perhaps have an advantage naturally doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I tend to see all the stuff and keeping
I think
track of all the
I think it
records
showed
and
because you and your dad did a lot better than you. Well, you got 22 points on that. I think someone else got 21.
Someone else got quite a lot. Yeah.
I think Tom and Pat got 21, but again, Tom's been around
since
quite a
the
while.
start
He's
of
probably
things,
got quite a lot of those records.
So the approach we took was that the highest score in a typical year for a player in a week is typically 50, with a few highs and maybe a couple of high 40s or whatever. So we just kind of multiplied that by 9 and maybe added a bit on. The weekly score. So we kind of did it in two. We did 4 at something like 180 for when we were a 10-team league, and then 5 at a bit lower, like 170, something like that, and blended it to get to where we got to. And then the season one again, similar thing. I think we took something like 1,750 times 4 for 10-team league years, and then 1,600 since we became a 12-team. And apparently my logic was pretty good.
Yeah, everyone sort of seemed to have the same approach.
Yeah, they were pretty close when you were reading.
Some people probably just get 60 instead of like 70 and things like that. So it was all.
Yeah, and then we had what was the highest total? The total score from all.
NFL
Or the total points, from all of the NFL UK games.
People were quite a way off on this.
Yeah, that was good. This was a difficult one because me and my dad, obviously we've been to most of everyone since the first one. We started off by trying to do it, and then we got to when it started to get 2 or 3 games here, and we just couldn't. But we were like, okay, the average score in an NFL game is probably average points in NFL games probably between 45 and 50, whether it's a blowout or a close game.
Yeah.
There haven't been many UK games where it's been less than that.
No.
In terms of total points, so that was our logic, and it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was just over 1,000 points. A lot of people were guessing around the 500 mark.
Yeah, very, very defensive.
Yeah.
Favorite games by those.
They may have been to the opening game where it was like 7-3 or something.
Indeed, and then the final trivia question was how many running backs were drafted in the first 3 rounds of the 2016 draft?
Which was the first draft the 12 current teams did together. So no one had an advantage. It was very much.
Yes.
We were all in that draft.
And me and my dad somehow got it exactly right with 17. Our logic was again. So there's 36 picks in those 3 rounds. We said, okay, maybe 2 of those are a quarterback, 2 of those are a tight end. So that gets you to 32. Then we're thinking, well, round 1's going to be very running back heavy, but then round 2's usually you see a few more receivers than round 3. Yeah. So we kind of said, okay, let's split it, and then add another one on for a running back. That's literally how we got to it. And by God, we got it. So the trivia questions were good. When you initially said that to me, I wasn't sure how detailed these questions were going to be, but I thought the questions were good.
It was very much just how well do you know the LOC?
Yeah. And
something which you can't really just Google.
No, definitely not.
Because otherwise, if someone would.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we had. So we'll come back to the challenges in a second. But first of all, we had to define things. I've got right in my hand here. So we had. A list of these things to do. They were just like challenges you could do for points. I won't read them all, but things like score a touchdown, do a bottle cap challenge, complete a pass to a stranger, take a photo of someone in a football shirt, give it to charity, so on, so on, so on. And then we had some at the bottom, which were find the longest stick, find the longest leaf, round a stone, and so on. This one was a bit confusing. Unfortunately, me and my dad got tripped up here, as some of the people did. It says winner gets 5 points, so we just assumed that if you weren't the winner, you didn't get anything.
I said at the start, but I don't know if everyone heard.
I don't think everyone
I think people were talking in their teams. It was supposed to be the winner gets 5 points, the next place gets 4, 3, 2, 1. Designed so that everyone competes in it.
Yeah.
And you've got the chance of getting 5 points.
Indeed. Because that was the mindset myself and my dad and I imagine a lot of the other teams must have had.
A few people were in and out of that one.
Yeah.
Ironically, the two people I explained it to the most didn't compete in any of those challenges. So
we also had roads to visit, so we had to go to certain roads in the Longsat.
All the roads were NFL related names.
They were. I'll read off a few of them for you. Cardinal Way, Centre Way, Church Close, and Church Road, of course, Barry Church.
Yeah. Conference, just being, conference.
Drake, Kenyon Drake Close.
Throwback to Benny Cunningham.
Benny Cunningham. Yeah, I was thinking Jermaine Cunningham when I saw that, but Benny Cunningham also. Heath Road, Jeff Heath. Hunts Pond Road, well, that's basically the LAC Stadium at this point.
Yeah.
James Grove Avenue, what was that? James, yeah, okay. Richards Close, I guess you could say, what's
the
Richard
Oakland running back as well.
Oh, Jalen Richard, there you go.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Gray Close, Jonas Gray, you get the idea. And then that was 2 points per road.
Yep, 2 points per road.
And then we had some anagrams to solve right here, so you know what an anagram is if not get help.
There's one player from each NFL team.
Yeah, one player from each NFL team, you have to solve it. I don't know if anyone else resorted to this, but confession, I did some of them. So I asked the question, I wasn't sure if it was active, offense. Turned out they were all offensive only.
Yeah, they were all offensive.
Yeah,
all
active.
At the time of writing them, someone may have retired between a week before the event and the event, but I don't think they did.
No, I don't. I also like the heavy focus on former Jags quarterbacks.
Yeah, I went through and I tried to, because I was working out ways I could do it, whether I was going to tell you there's X amount of quarterbacks, X amount of this, and when I went through it, I realised I'd written so many Jags quarterbacks now, or previous ones. I was like, I can't do it. Like that.
It was funny. It's fine.
Yeah.
Confession. I definitely went for the ones that I couldn't figure out. Spent on the team rosters and such.
Yeah, no, that was fine doing it that way.
Wasn't sure if it was, but hey, I did it anyway.
No, so that's fine because it's something which it takes up time.
For me as well. You know, I know a lot of players in the NFL. For some guys in the league, they just don't have that off the top of their head.
No, it was very much that.
You're right.
It was there. It was a time thing. So the idea of the whole challenge was you wouldn't be able to complete everything. So Ben's challenge a couple of years ago, it was who could complete everything in the fastest time.
Yes.
Chris's was a bit more last year. Every team did something different.
Yes.
And this year was again the case of everyone.
Yes.
Some people didn't attempt the anagrams. Some people didn't attempt the roads.
Which is funny because I did I'd say I listed half of them in the car or as I was walking.
The way which they were designed was the passenger of the car, or if you're running between places, can do the anagrams whilst the other person is driving. Because one of the only things with Chris's last year was a lot of time you were just sitting driving.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything to do whilst you were there.
True.
Other than like take the odd photo, so that's why I tried to incorporate that in this year. I was going to do a crossword as well, but I didn't.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't get round to
That's fine. I did find as the non-driver, it was probably actually a lot more stressful than the driver. I feel like in Chris's challenge, the driver was probably more stressed because they had to get to A to B as quick as they could to get as much in. But the driver with this, because it was a logo, it was like so. When I'll explain this sheet and then you'll see why. So basically, we had sets of things we needed to take a photo of. Effectively, you'll see. Such as, again, I'll read some off. No entry signs, roundabouts, playgrounds, schools, fun taking photos of those. Yeah. Basketball hoop, football goals, pubs, fish and chip shops, Indian and Chinese takeaways, dogs, cats, darks, boats, food shops, bakeries, charity shop, caravans, Mini Coopers, yellow cars, car sales, garages, churches, restaurants, bodies of water, buses, solar panelled rooftops, which is great because we came back home and this whole street has like 5.
I was going to say, down my road, that's what I was looking out my window. I was like, what else can there be?
10 fish, which in hindsight, I wish I'd just gone into Tesco and take a picture of the fish counter. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, so I was assuming someone was just going to go to Pets at Home and just go snap a photo.
So you needed varying levels of those, and if you completed the set, you got a point.
Yeah.
Combine that with, so I'm to take pictures of that, to having to take pictures of the roads while doing anagrams was pretty busy for me, being the passenger, but it was fine. And then also on top of all of that, we also had some challenges to do throughout the day that you sporadically messaged, and basically the first person who replied obviously got the points. So some of them were, I've got one right here for example, but you can see that. So you had to draw 4 NFL teams' logos, and send them to you. Take a picture of another team was one, take a picture of an ant.
Take a picture of some cereal, take a picture of my front door, which was a funny one because the team which got there first didn't actually win the challenge. So there's various little bits which there was challenges to go around for bonus points, and they're often for more points because the other ones, they're basically things you'd have to go out your way for.
Yeah.
But unless you got lucky and I said, take a photo of this, and you were right next to something, fair enough. But if I said, take a photo of my house, there was no challenges down my road, so someone had to go out of their way.
I don't know, James Groove Avenue as a road is pretty close.
To that, it was all around the area, but it was more designed. There's big points rewarded, but it's high risk, because if you come second, you've lost a chance of getting 4 points elsewhere, and you also lost a chance of 10 bonus points.
Yeah.
So it's designed to sort of keep people on their toes, so they couldn't just go. And it will show, because I want to say off the top of my head, Chris and Ben achieved the most. From what I've seen, Chris and Ben... They
did all of the roads,
all the anagrams. All the anagrams, all the challenges nearly, all the sets. But they didn't win, because they didn't get any bonus points.
Yeah.
And the winning team got quite a few bonus points, and the second place team, you guys, got quite a few bonus points.
So we'll reveal that now. So that was all of the challenges. So a big melting pot, was really good, it all came together. And then, so we had the final score. So Ollie, Gardner and Phil laughably came dead last.
I don't think they took it as seriously as everyone else for the first half.
No, I think
and I think it showed, because last year I think everyone was probably in a boat of Ben's went really well 2 years ago. Last year we had 3 teams and everyone was probably going into it a bit like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think 5 minutes into it everyone was properly into it and had a really good time, and I'd say that it sort of set a foundation for like
this year. Yeah, indeed, because you're right. We kind of knew that yours was going to be a bit similar.
People get into it,
so we knew exactly what it entailed. Whereas I guess we had a similar thing to last year, where people going in didn't really know what to think of it.
Yeah, whereas you and your dad did it last year. Chris obviously and Ben did it last year. Viv and Ross didn't do it last year, but they were a bit more into it, I think.
Yeah.
Tom and Pat. Tom did it last year, and he was into it. Yeah. But Ollie and Chris, fair enough. Like they weren't into it in the first half, but they even said in the second half they were like, "Okay, we actually need to start." I think it showed like they were the first ones to get to the house and things like that. So they were properly doing it.
So they came last, and then 4th place was Viv and
Ross. Which, to be fair, I think the only reason Viv and Ross came last because they had a disappointing quiz and a disappointing start of the day.
Yes.
Because 30 points separated top to Viv and Ross.
Oh, okay.
It was only 30 points in it, and then Phil and Ollie were another 20, 30 points behind.
Yeah.
So had they done better in the start of the day, they would have taken points off other people, it would have been a bit closer. And again, they only got one challenge as well. They got the very first challenge. They were close on a couple, but they only got 5 bonus points in the end, which does hurt.
Yeah, it was funny actually. When I sent you the picture of Tom in the car, I was like, because I was taking a picture of the road. Yeah. I just happened to, and I was like, may as well send it, because the challenge was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, who knows, might get it.
I hadn't heard anything on that one. So the photo of someone else, it was going to be the last challenge for a big amount of points, but my logic was, I don't know how often people are seeing each other. I'm not there, I'm over in
I bumped into Ross and Viv in Moxie.
Yeah, so I was sitting there just like, I'll send it with about an hour and a half to go to give people a chance. Because it's not so you can't go looking for someone else. It's very much got to be you find them. Yeah. And then I didn't hear anything for a while, and then you sent it through, and then obviously
the funniest thing was it was just a random road in Whiteley. Because they were obviously just getting this, and we just happened to be there at the same time.
Yeah,
it's quite funny. So Chris and Ben came 3rd.
Yeah, just ahead of Ross and they had a very good. They achieved the most. I think they probably got the most things done.
Yeah,
but they again had a poor result in the field, poor quiz. And didn't get any bonus points. I think that's why they came there.
Me and my dad came 2nd by a point to Pat and Tom. Yeah. Frustratingly, because I found a leaf that was in the car.
Oh, you lost it?
No, I lost it. It was in the car, and then when we came together, I was like, "What the hell is this leaf gone?" And then there were also some leaves on the stick I bought, which we're not allowed. I could have plucked one off on the way, and it would have been fine. But
it's all fun and games.
Exactly.
I think Tom and Pat deserve to win for the best cake alone, where they went out and bought a full-on Waitrose bumblebee cake.
That was pretty fun.
I was expecting someone to go to a bakery and get like a little muffin,
which is basically what Ross and Viv did.
Yeah,
they still got points for it though. It's all okay. So the end result of that was then Pat went into the Southampton division as the seeded, I guess, number 1 overall winner, and then we can bring up the.
Interestingly enough, about the event, it was initially designed for teams of 3.
Ooh.
It was teams of 3 until I can't remember who confirmed.
Teams of 3 would have worked well because it would have been in one more division of Labour, but
someone confirmed later on that they could go, and I was like,
because it was only due to be 10 including. Got it.
Or it's going to be 4 teams of 3, and I was going to join in.
Yes.
Because it's again one of the things like Chris's last year. I wouldn't have taken part in the quiz because I knew the answers.
Yeah.
But everything else, I had absolutely no advantage taking part of that.
Absolutely.
Because I did not map out the route. I did not.
No, we did halfway through.
I did try to the other day at work at lunch. I was like, I wonder how long it is to put all of those roads into a route and plot it. But that's when I realised there was one random one.
My dad, with the random one, so we came back home and just basically printed it off. Just. And did as many as we could with the time we had left. Anyway, so that was so Pat got put into the Southampton division. You can see there Tom, as the other winning team member, got put into Portsmouth division, and then we flipped a coin for me and my dad to go into Winchester. So I go into Winchester, and then it was basically a draft. So Pat got to pick who he wanted first. I believe he picked Phil. Then Tom got to pick. He picked Ollie Gardner. I picked and chose Ross. Then we didn't do the snake in this old draft. Oh no, linear draft right here. Pat chose
Nigel.
I think it was Nigel. Yeah. Then
I was chosen.
Tom chose the other Ollie. I chose Chris, and then Pat as his final chose Viv. Tom chose Ben, so that meant my dad came into the Winchester division as well.
I've got a feeling. Top of my head, I know my division's very similar to last year.
Some of them are quite similar.
Oh, the other two? Has everyone got the 3 of the same people and one team switched?
We can bring up the division.
I could be wrong on that.
I was in the Winchester in last year. I think.
I thought you had.
I don't know. Well, we're about to find out, folks. Here we go. So last year's Winchester was me and my dad, which is the same.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
In Portsmouth is the one that's been split up except Ben. But then Southampton, you and Tom were
me, Tom, and Ollie Gardner.
And Ollie Gardner, of course. Yeah, you're right.
That's how it came about. It was
and then effectively Phil and Nige then went into the Southampton division with.
So there's a good mix-up.
It's a good mix. Yeah, let's take a look at these divisions quickly. That's why we're here. So the Southampton division then, is the Tarkvards, the Dream Team, ADRZ, and Pakistan. Only one Corona Bowl champion in that division.
I was surprised to see Nigel taken where he was taken.
Yeah, not the last. He's obviously 3 Corona Bowls in a season. Was his Hall of Fame nomination this year, and then he made the playoffs again last year.
Yeah.
He's
got a knack for. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. He finds a way.
None of us.
But then he can't finish off, so it's.
Indeed. And then Viv's obviously been another team that's been very good in recent history. One minor blip, which we talked about last week, but last year was another very strong year. Phil was having a good season, almost on his way to proving us wrong.
I think he spoke about it last year in the review. He just sort of it hit week 10 or whatever, and a load of teams just sort of flipped to the form.
And then Pat obviously struggled a bit last year, but be looking to reverse that. I think I would describe that as probably one of the more competitive decisions. Okay, Nigel's in there. Nigel and Viv have to be the favourites.
I'd say those two to come top 2. I wouldn't like to call it which way.
But at the same time, when we see teams be good for so long, they're due a down year at some point.
Nigel's due a down year eventually.
Viv had his, so maybe he's away, but opposite can be true of said Phil. He's not had a good few years.
Interestingly enough, is Nigel going to the draft?
I don't know yet.
So there's potentially 2, not auto-drafted teams in that division, but there's 2 non-drafting teams there, which is interesting how that plays out.
Yes, indeed. So competitive division there. Let me put the Portsmouth division, where it's division from hell from Ollie Gardner's point of view, because there are a collective 5 Corona Bowls out of 10. Half the league's
Yes.
Corona Bowls sit in this division. 1 for Ixan, 2 for you, obviously 2 for Tom, and the big old fat 0 for Ollie Gardner. So, division from hell, and a lot of different approaches, I think.
I'd say though that that's division hell. Me and Tom, although we've won 2 each, in between we've not had. I know Tom had a good season last year, and it was, but we've both had some down years.
Funnily enough, as well, so apart from your first title, all of the years you've won it, you've never had a great regular season, either of you. Obviously, Tom snuck in and won it the second time round. His first one, he was the wild card team. Your first one was obviously you tramped everyone, but last year you obviously snuck in as well. So you're right. There's no, while it's a division from hell based on experience standpoint,
I think it's like an experience because
there's no
Tom's winning one and mine. We've both come from basically being out to winning the thing based on transactions we've done.
The one, the flip side of that coin, you both have had some insane seasons. Tom's obviously had a 13-1 regular season once upon a time. You've had some very good seasons
Not to
as well.
discount Ben, who recently I'd say has been one of the best couple of.
He is an odd one because he is very consistent and he'll get I can't remember, it's something like 8 or 7 wins every single damn year.
Yeah.
But he never really gets above that. So he's a frustrating one to have in your division because by the nature of that, you're playing him twice. It's quite likely you'll lose to him twice.
But
just because
he
gets
won't.
Those wins.
He won't ever reach like the 10 win mark and like
Precisely.
dominate the regular season.
It's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. I take back what I said. This is probably the most competitive division because even last year, Ollie Gardner as well.
He
finally had his
record as
7-7. 7-7. He finally put himself on the map and with an earned 7-7. As we went through in last week's episode, go check that out if you haven't already. So very competitive division there, and then finally the Winchester division. It's a mixed bag. We've got Gridiron Gang and Ben Necessities, 2 champions of old. Forge Fly is a champion of new, and then Ross, who is a blend of both old and new because he of course retired.
Chris is sort of in a similar boat to me and Tom in the fact he's won his title. But in between that and he had a very good season earlier on where he got unlucky. It's just been a floating around the middle mark.
I think you could say the same about me. I've never had I don't think I've ever had a double-digit win season.
No,
I've made the playoffs 4 times.
Yeah, whereas you look at like people like Viv and Nige, they consistently win the league basically. They consistently win their division convincingly and then just fall off in the playoffs.
Indeed.
Whereas a lot of people aren't like that, but they've still got the same amount of Corona Bowls. And it's a tough one to have because the top division, like you're going to probably have to win it to get out of it. The other ones you may be able to get 3rd place. Or 2nd place. Sorry.
For the wild card. You're absolutely right. So 3 very balanced divisions, I think, on that.
Where is everyone drafting in there compared
to that the respective draft spots of each. So I'm number 7. I believe I've got it right here. I believe my dad is number 5.
I may have screenshotted it.
Bear with us, folks. Yeah, we've got it right here. So my dad is number 5. Ross is number 10, and Chris is number 3. So 3, 5, 7, and 10 there.
In my division, this is assuming Viv. We don't know what Viv's changing to yet.
Yes, but the Northwani rule could be enacted.
So just checking, Viv is drafting 9th currently, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought he said 11th at the weekend.
Sorry, I must have forgotten where he was drafted.
No, okay.
Yeah, no, he's in 9th according to this. So in the Portsmouth division we have Ben, he is spot number 11. We have you at spot number 4. Then Tom at spot number 6. And OB Wanganovi Ollie Gardner at number 8. So that is 4, 6, 8 and 11. So quite a spread in that.
6, 1 and 2 are in.
Yeah, so in the Southampton division, Phil and ADRZ 1 and 2 respectively. Phil 1 and 2 years in a row, can I just say. And we've got Pat at 12, so it's both extremes, and then Viv at 9. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But once the divisions get done, that means I can make the schedule. It was all a bit, quick pace for me this year because the division only event was so late, just because that's when everyone was around. That meant I had to delay, obviously, doing the divisions and then delay doing the schedule. But it's all done now, and we're going to take a look and reveal it to you now, as we like to do every year. Now, one thing we must get find is when the NFL, I think they're on my calendar actually, NFL international games this year. I believe they're all in October with an exception of 3rd of November. So That doesn't help me in terms of the weeks, though. It
No.
doesn't now. Week 1 is the
6, 8, and
so if
10,
we remember the start, so I think that's week 1, isn't it? The
Yeah.
8th is so 2, 3, 4. So week 5 is the first. So that's 5, 6, 8, and 9. I make
Yeah.
that as the Wimbledon games. Or the Tottenham Bowl games, is it?
Yeah,
Is now
the
as well.
London games.
So let's take a look here. So we have, I don't know where the logos aren't here. Let's give this an old refresh just to see if.
Also, Chris, the
Nope.
grey helmet has gone off the NFL website.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this redesign, if I'm being
No.
honest.
I'm not, because
I won't reveal it, but when I was making the Hall of Fame banner, I had to yank, or I at one point I thought I had to yank the logo off of here,
Yeah.
which was going to be a bitch because it's in a circle and it would have looked
Yeah.
crap. But luckily that's not the case as I had it on file. But yeah, sorry, apologies, we'll have to get my names here, but that's fine. So in week 1 we have divisional week right off the bat. Gridiron Gang against Ross's team. I don't know, is he going to get back to Southampton Armors? Who knows?
he could go to anything.
Anything.
I think it's going to very much depend on who he's drafted.
Potentially, yes.
Yes.
Tuckfords v Padistan, the Dream Team v AOZ, Obi-Wan Kenobi v Tom's Tyrants, Ixan v Detonators, and Ben Necessities against Foot Flyers. Now, I don't try and influence the schedule, however, I think I would have been foolish had I done anything else but this. I think I just randomly picked a line and it worked out well. Tuckfords v Padistan has to be the marquee matchup for week 1.
A lot of history.
Lot of history, and Pat picked Phil to be in his division.
So this could
so
backfire.
right off the bat, it's a test. Yeah, a lot of history. They'll have another chance to face each other later on in the season.
Yeah. But it's bragging rights straight away.
Indeed.
Neither of them have a lot to be talking about after last year. So.
Yeah. I can't remember who won it last year.
I'm assuming Phil did based on the fact that Pat won 2 games.
Any other games you like the look of there?
Ollie v Tom.
Ollie v Tom.
Again, it's
Ollie Gardner v Tom. Yeah,
they've got their own little history there. Obviously, friends going back a while.
I came up with a name for that earlier. I'm going to call it the Padawan Bowl.
Yeah.
Because Tom obviously brought Ollie Gardner into the league.
Yeah.
And at any point Ollie wins that matchup, we can then say the Padawan has become the master.
Exactly.
So it makes sense to me. And then last year, we need a name for the Tuckfords Padistan Bowls, what the Cunt Bowl.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit strong for YouTube, but it's happening. So Phil won it last year, as you can see.
Interesting enough, we need to know if Ollie Gardner's going to change his name this year.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, yes,
because it depends who wins the Bears kicker job. Based on this, I don't think anyone's winning the Bears kicker job anytime soon.
Week 2 then, we have Gridiron Gang against Ixan, Bare Necessities against Padistan, Tom's Tyrants via the Tuckfords, but Detonators via ADLZ, let's say Southampton Knowles for now against the Dream Team, and Foot Flyers against Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is an interdivisional week in week 2. Anything spring out you there? Kind of feels like a run-of-the-mill.
Yeah.
The only one that I can kind of have an inkling is going to maybe be interesting in the sense that Ross's team against Viv, they're both going to be effectively auto-drafted teams.
Yeah.
So early season test for them.
They've also teamed up for the division lining event, so I think it might be the first game where teammates are facing.
Well,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think you are very much right. I think you're right.
Just a little fact. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Absolutely nothing.
It's the first one of the season, so let's call that as our marquee matchup.
Yeah, so that's our marquee matchup right now. Week 3, Gridiron Gang against Tom's Tyrants, Obi-Wan Kenobi against Padistan, Ixan against the Tuckfords, Ross's team against ADLZ, Ben Necessities against the Dream Team, and Forge Flies against Detonators.
UV Tom here's
Corona Bowl 3 rematch.
Week 3, I always see it as a pivotal one. You can lose your first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, I've got a good team. I can pick it up 2 losses. Not the end of the world. If you lose your 3rd week, it's possible to come back from 0-3.
Absolutely, but you need to go on a heck of a run, because typically you can take maybe 6 wins in a season to squeak in, 5 wins if you want a guaranteed playoff spot. If you start 0-2, you've basically got to win 11 of the next. Sorry, 9 of the next 12. So that puts a lot of pressure on you. You're absolutely right. So other than that, pretty run-of-the-mill games there. Week 4, Gridiron Gang against Forge Flyers, the old podcast bowl.
Yeah.
ADRZ against Pakistan. Dream Team against the Tugfards. Burdett against Tom's Tyrants. That's a Corona Bowl rematch if I've ever seen one. Ixan against Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Bare Necessities against Ross's team. Now, ordinarily I'd go with the podcast bowl, but I think
Tom's going to want revenge.
we can look no further than the Corona Bowl 10 rematch. Burdett against Tom's Tyrants for the marquee match.
Yeah.
There's going to be fireworks in that one, and no less than you are obviously division rivals this year as well.
Yeah.
So
again,
some even more heat to add on to that game. Other than that, I don't think there's anything particularly juicy right now. So we'll just mosey on to week 5, which is the first NFL
and you and your
game.
dad are both there.
And so we have I can't remember, are these the Tottenham games? I think they are. Yes. So we have a Tottenham Bowl coming up in week 5. The first ever Tottenham Bowl came as soon as possible.
A year late.
Yeah, a year late indeed. Gridiron Gang with Bare Necessities. The Dream Team versus Pakistan. ADOZ versus the Tugfards. Ixan against Tom's Tyrants. Burdett against Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Ollie Bowl right there. And then Forge Flyers against Ross's team. So, I would say the Tottenham Bowl, definitely the marquee match up there. But the Ollie Bowl, having a nice little bit of juice to it too.
Yeah.
Week 6, Gridiron Gang take on the Tugfards, Ixan take on Pakistan, Forge Flyers take on ADRZ, Obi-Wan Kenobi take on the Dream Team, Bare Necessities take on Tom's Tyrants, and Ross's team take on Burdett. Again, this is another Tottenham NFL game. However, I don't believe we will have a Tottenham Bowl in this week. There may be one between Bare Necessities and Tom's Tyrants. I can't remember
which game they're going to.
who. Well, Pat's obviously going to the Bucks game, so let me just have a look at the online series for NFL. Bear with us there. If there's any other interesting games?
There's not really a lot going on that week. I think it's a bit of a dead week. I mean, UV Phil, it's 2 founding teams is always quite nice when you see that face off.
Yeah.
Because there's now 10 years of history, basically.
Teams. Exactly. Unfortunately, this one is the Bucks game, so Pat will be there, not Tom, but hey, still a fun week. There you go. So I guess marquee matchup, Gridiron Gang v Tugfards that week, but another run-of-the-mill week. Week 7 then, Gridiron Gang take on the Detonators, Ross's team take on Pakistan, Bare Necessities take on the Tugfards, Obi-Wan Kenobi take on ADRZ, Ixan take on the Dream Team, and Forge Flyers take on Tom's Tyrants. Anything doing it for you there?
There's no local rivalries there. There's nothing like. I mean, me v you is always quite a good game. We're quite even throughout the years. I think.
We're probably very similar. Kelter, I would say. Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing jumping out at me at that point. But you get to week 7 in the actual season. And
mid-season.
You can effectively knock someone out of the playoffs in week 7.
Practically. Yeah.
So there could be lots of juicy games.
Yes.
Interdivision games are quite good for knocking people off out of the division because at the end of the day there's going to be.
And they're very important in the World Cup race because it's a chance to put down your potential opponent, of course.
Yeah.
Week 8 we have Gridiron Gang against Ross's team, so we're back to division games. Tugfards v Pakistan, it's going to be the remake match of the Cup Bowl. The Dream Team take on ADLZ, Obi-Wan Kenobi take on Tom's Tyrants, Ixan take on the Detonators, and Bare Necessities v Forge Flyers. So we know what the marquee matchup is there.
Yeah, same as week 1.
Yeah. And then week 9, Gridiron Gang take on ADLZ, Tom's Tyrants against Pakistan, the Detonators against the Tugfards. That's the juicy one right there. Forge Flyers take on the Dream Team. Ross's team take on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Bare Necessities take on Ixan. So you versus Phil in week 9.
Fun fact about that: it's almost even now, maybe, Phil.
Is it really?
I think it's
Let's bring up the history and have a look. Yes, because famously I always build this game up the exact same way because it holds true. For many a year, Phil absolutely had your number. I think you're right. He absolutely had your number, and when it came to the Corona Bowl that you both played, you pipped him. Maybe even for the first time. It was
my first win against him.
First win against Phil. What a time to win it. And egg all over Phil's face, of course, which is what we like to see in the LOC. So we have the team versus team right here. The Detonators, you are now
That's
4-9, so you've kind of clawed it back.
it was literally 8-0 at one point.
It was, yes, so you've definitely clawed it back to a degree. And it is the marquee matchup for Week 9, which could have some ramifications for playoffs. Week 10, the Gridiron Gang take on Obi-Wan Kenobi, Detonators against Pakistan, Ross's team against the Dark Fard, Bare Necessities against ADRZ, the old co-worker bowl right there, Tom's Tyrants versus the Dream Team, and the Friendship Bowl in Fortifiers v Ixan.
There's two marquee matchups there, the co-worker bowl and the Friendship Bowl.
Yeah.
Two old rivals going at it.
Very much.
Which always seems to be quite even games as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, well, no. Chris, me and Ben have a nice little wooden triangle going on between
Chris always beats Ben.
Ben always beats me.
And you always beat Chris.
That's the triangle. Whereas we can look at the history of... you're right though, ADLZ and Bare Necessities quite close in the old history there. Then we get to week 11, crunching through to the end of the season. Gridiron Gang against Fortifiers, so we have the rematch of the Podcast Bowl. ADLZ against Pakistan, Dream Team versus the Tuck Farts, but Detonators versus Tom's Tyrants, so that's the Corona Bowl. 10 rematch again at a pivotal time of the season. Ixan against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Bare Necessities against Ross's team. So crucial week 11 games there. Week 12, Gridiron Gang versus the Dream Team. This might be the last interdivisional week, I can't remember. Fudge Flyers against Pakistan, Obi-Wan Kenobi against the Tuck Farts, Ixan against ADRZ, the old acronym bowl, Ross's team against Tom's Tyrants, and Bare Necessities against the Detonators. Corona Bowl 1 rematch, lest we forget. So a couple of juicy games in there. Anything else doing it for you?
No, I think it's...
It's all about acronym and Corona Bowl 1
acronym bowl there.
Week 13, Gridiron Gang take on Pakistan. Sorry, this is the last interdivisional week, so 2 interdivisional weeks leading up to the end. Forge Flyers against the Tuck Farts, Tom's Tyrants against ADLZ, the Detonators against the Dream Team, Bare Necessities versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ross's team versus Ixan. Anything really?
Tom v Nige would be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one too. Teams have been very good in recent years. And then finally in week 14, Gridiron Gang versus Bare Necessities. The Stubbs Bowl comes in the final week of the season. This is a divisional week as well, so a lot on the line. The Dream Team against Pakistan, ADRZ against the Tuck Farts, Ixan against Tom's Tyrants, Detonators against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Forge Fires against Ross's team. What do you make of the final week?
It's going to be quite pivotal in the last week.
And ADRZ v Tuck Farts could have huge ramifications, so could Ixan v Tom's
Tyrants. They all could at this point there. I think we need to, I don't know which week it was, we need to highlight Ollie v Ross as the name change bowl.
The name change bowl.
Because they've been in the league the least time, I think. And they've changed their name the most out of everyone.
We skipped through as well. We'll find when that is, but we skipped through from the potential Wembley Bowl. So far,
we had 2 more Wembley games.
So far, me and my dad are confirmed. No pressure on you, Ollie, but if you go in week 7, we'll have a Wembley Bowl. If you're around.
To see if my exam.
Fingers crossed.
Or if I've got to redo my exam.
Indeed.
I'll find out next week.
Indeed. Oh, while we're on holiday, no less. Excellent. And then week 8, we probably won't have a Wembley Bowl, but that's fine. So we will find which week the team name change bowl is. That's a bit of a mouthful. That's going to be fun. Where is Ross's team? There we go. It falls in week 9. There you go. Week 9.
Perfect. Week 9. Big name on.
Circle it on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen. So
because they could be called anything at that point. We don't know what they're going to be called.
Literally not a clue.
And for anyone interesting, a Jets linebacker has not practiced today. Brandon Copeland, if anyone's thinking about drafting him.
He was a sleeper for me, God.
But Caden Ellis is starting.
There you go. So that is the bumper episode, which hilariously was shorter than last week's episode of the Division Lining Rope review, recap, whatever you want to call it. The division review and the schedule reveal. So, how did it feel to be back on the NFC report?
It's good to be back on it. It was.
Hopefully we'll have you on a few times.
I'm getting excited for that. It's a bit of a weird feeling this year. Because I'm not. It's the first time I've not been at a draft since I've moved back from Guernsey, I think.
Yes.
Because I had a couple of years out there and then I moved back, been to them since, been to all of them before, so it's going to be weird being away. But still looking forward to it nonetheless. Started all the prep.
Yep, less than 2 weeks now, so it's certainly coming
I've
up.
been drafting at both position 4 and 9, just in case of
Yeah, I've yet to do that, but I'm in 7, so it's really not that different.
Yeah, for me,
so
it could, but I mean, it's not to spoil it for anyone. Drafting at 4, I haven't seen any. You sort of miss out on
sure.
the top 10,
sure.
unless you want Zeke, who's not going to play all year.
Yeah, that's not ideal, is it? That's not ideal. And so, yeah, that's it for another episode of the LSU Report. Thank you for watching us, dear listeners, and thank you for joining Ollie. We'll be back next week with the mock draft episode, so make sure you tune in for that one. It's always a good one. But other than that, keep it breezy and have a good weekend. We'll catch you later.